2019, the Chinese authorities notified the world that a virus was spreading through their communities. In the following months, it spread to other countries, with cases doubling within days. This virus is the severe acute respiratory syndrome-related coronavirus 2 that causes the disease called COVID-19 and that everyone simply calls coronavirus. What actually happens when it infects a human, and what should we all do?
The definition of irony is when the year the rat starts with a plague. My name is Daniel Dolligan, and I'm here to address an issue that is affecting us all currently, which is the recent outbreak of COVID-19. I'll present a documentary pitch about people aren't taking COVID-19 seriously, therefore putting others at risk. In pitching this, I will discuss the backgrounds of COVID-19, how the virus affects major industries, and the Gladstone community. This is definitely an important topic for the Gladstone youth because the number of cases in Gladstone are low and we want to keep it that way. The first confirmed cases of COVID-19 occurred in December in Wuhan, China. On 11th of March, the World Health Organization declared COVID-19 as a global pandemic that swept over Asia, Europe, and United States, and infected over 121,000 people. The critical issue is after confirming COVID-19 as an official pandemic, the public have reacted poorly, which has affected the amount of people being infected. Pretty much the world is an intense bushfire. According to Queensland government COVID-19 statistics, overall Brisbane has 419 total cases, whereas Gladstone has 1 total case. This statistic shows how we Gladstone people have low cases and should stay that way by following restrictions and government advice. Seems easy, don't you think? ABC News published an article last updated on 29th of March about COVID-19 that informs government restrictions and medical advice. Arriving passengers collected their bags before they were escorted to waiting charter buses for the short trip into the city in a convoy led by federal police. Summing this up, this statement shows one of the government advices, like international travelers coming back to Australia, because of the advice, rates of new cases fall. ABC News uses Chief Medical Officer Professor Murphy's expert advice on how Australia is definitely positioned to be one of the world's highest testing rates and one of the lowest positive test rates. He quotes, "We are not Italy, we are not the United States, and we are not Spain." That states that the use of both anaphora and a tear out that we Australians are not like other countries. Again, making us the audience feel safe and propagates that message. We have to slow it further, and we have to stop the thing that worries us most, which is community transmission. This is the use of inclusion that we Australians can stop COVID-19 if we do follow the government restriction and advice. Therefore, ABC News positions the audience to feel safe and secure the knowledge that our stats will remain low if we follow government advice, unlike other countries. Alternatively, The Guardian published an article called Bondi Beach Closed After Crowds Defied the Ban on Gatherings of 500 Plus by Ben Smee. The article informs readers about how Australians at Bondi Beach are not following government restriction and advice. As a GP working in Bondi and living in this area with my children, I'm appalled at the lack of disregard by many for how serious this all is. Bondi, this is not social distancing. You are contributing to the spread of COVID. This is a tweet by Amandeep, a general practitioner, included at the article. It shows the point of view that the people at Bondi do not take COVID-19 seriously, and with use of ethos and logos, it provides how emotionally Amandeep feels and logically acknowledges the importance of social distancing. She expressed how, as general practitioner, COVID-19 is absolutely disregarded, and how Bondi is not strictly putting social distancing restrictions in place. Therefore, Smee used a tweet of a general practitioner near Bondi Beach that uses persuasive language like ethos and logos to position the reader to understand the importance of social distancing. At last, the documentary will definitely be important for the Gladstone youth because it will be important as a community to follow restriction and advice during COVID-19, as it's important for us specifically because we need to keep our stats low. The documentary will follow the 3-act structure, which will outline background information, the effects on major industries, and the effects on Gladstone community. Act 1, firstly in Act 1, the documentary will outline the discovery of COVID-19 and how it builds up as a global pandemic. Secondly, in Act 2, we will explain how COVID-19 affects major industries such as airlines, the economy, and small businesses. Thirdly, in Act 3, we will cover the effects on the Gladstone community, showing how absolutely necessary it is for our community to follow government restriction and advice. I will be the main character for this documentary because I've been following this pandemic from beginning to now. I'll be interviewing students, specifically Year 12's students, as I'm in the same boat. Through blood, sweat, and tears, we are trying to finish our schooling. But because of the pandemic, there's added stress. Including interviews with Year 12 students, I hope to completely highlight the importance of following restriction and advice for our senior cohort. This will bring the forefront of Gladstone youth value for education. I'll also be interviewing the medical team like nurses and doctors for clinics to hospitals. Including interviews for nurses and doctors would definitely understand the importance of people's health and safety through government restriction and advice. However, I would consider their experiences with how they handled the first case of COVID-19. For footage, use of effects are news reports such as 7 News, YouTube clips of medical team, and just infographic statistics of Queensland. Features of this documentary will include a specific style of editing, similar to Shane Dawson, with hip-hop fusion instrumentals.
There's something going on. Is it really going to do it? Do you think it's going to be? Oh my god.
I think that he's gonna be mad at anyone that talks about the speed for that. Yeah. Yeah, just to be safe, even though he knows. And like the best thing for you would be to wear his face. I don't even mean that for the video, like I mean I would wear it.
My purpose is to inform how we as people are infected by COVID-19 and stress the importance of following government restriction and advice. In conclusion, COVID-19 began as a global pandemic from China to the rest of the world. Quite ironic as it's the year of the rat, an animal that symbolizes recklessness, pestilence, and deception. COVID-19 is a literal resident evil. Anyone can possess unless we socially distance and follow government guidelines. We do agree that we want to keep our families safe, and they're saying by Mahatma Gandhi, "You must be the change you wish to see the world." Stop, look, and listen. If we want to see change, we need to take action, and you can do that by producing this documentary. We will stay apart, and we will stay together through this pandemic. Thank you.